Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. This update feels very much like Crytek listening closely to ongoing feedback and quietly smoothing out friction points that have been frustrating players for a while. One of the biggest changes, and honestly one of the most player-friendly decisions we've seen recently, is how premium story challenges now work. Previously, when you bought one of these, there was always this pressure hanging over you because it came with an expiration window. You paid your blood bonds, but you still had to grind it out before the timer ran out, which didn't feel great if real life got in the way. With this update, that restriction is completely gone. Once you purchase a premium story challenge, it's yours permanently. No expiration, no countdown, no feeling like you're racing the clock instead of enjoying the hunt. You can progress through it at your own pace, whether that takes a week or several months, and that alone makes these challenges feel much more worthwhile and respectful of players' time. Alongside that, Crytek also adjusted prices for some premium content, and these changes are actually pretty generous. The On the Winds of Midwinter Story Challenge has had its Blood Bond cost reduced significantly, making it far more accessible than before. This isn't just a small tweak either. It's a noticeable drop that lowers the barrier for players who were interested but hesitant to commit at the old price. On top of that, avatars for Blood Bond hunters have also been reduced in price, which might sound minor at first, but for players who enjoy customizing their profile and showing off their favorite hunters, it adds up over time. What's really important here is that Crytek didn't just lower prices and move on. If you already bought these items before the update at the higher cost, the game compensates you for the difference. That kind of retroactive fairness is something players always appreciate because it shows that early supporters aren't being punished for jumping in sooner. It builds trust, and trust is a big deal in a long-running live service game like Hunt. Another change that flew a bit under the radar, but is actually pretty impactful, is related to stat trackers on player profiles. Previously, equipping and displaying certain trackers came with a cost, which always felt a little strange considering they're purely informational and cosmetic. With this update, stat trackers can now be equipped and shown off completely free. This means you can highlight your accomplishments, favorite weapons, or personal milestones without worrying about spending extra currency. It encourages players to engage more with the stats system and makes profiles feel more personal and expressive without any downside. On the bug fix side of things, this update tackles a couple of annoying issues that were quietly disrupting progression. One of the most frustrating bugs involved challenges being incorrectly marked as completed, which then blocked further progress. Imagine trying to grind challenges only to realize the game thinks you're done and won't let you continue. That's been fixed, which should restore proper progression for affected players and prevent future cases of getting stuck in challenge limbo. There was also a fix related to weapon stat tracking, where data could be confusing or misleading between weapon families and specific variants. For players who like to analyze their performance, track mastery, or just understand how much time they've put into a certain loadout, clarity here is essential. With this fix, stats should now display correctly, making it easier to see exactly where your kills and experience are coming from. Beyond all of that, the update includes general stability and performance improvements. These aren't always the flashiest changes, but they matter every single match. Smoother performance, fewer hiccups, and increased overall stability help keep the focus where it should be, on tense gunfights, smart positioning, and those heart-pounding moments when you're extracting with a bounty while another team is closing in. Taken as a whole, this update feels like a refinement pass rather than a headline-grabbing content drop, and that's not a bad thing at all. By removing unnecessary time limits, lowering prices, fixing progression-blocking bugs, and making customization features more accessible, Crytek is clearly trying to improve the everyday experience of playing Hunt Showdown. These are the kinds of changes that don't always dominate conversations right away, but over time, they make the game feel fairer, smoother, and more enjoyable to stick with. If you've stepped away for a bit or felt burned by expiring challenges or confusing stat systems, this update might be a good reason to jump back in and see how things feel now. And if you're already playing regularly, chances are you'll notice these improvements pretty quickly, even if they're subtle at first. That's everything included in this update, and as always, the Bayou keeps evolving in its own gritty way.